Hey, yeah, what's up? This disciple Marcello Currents Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day. So this message is going to be about the law that was passed after 9/11. It's called the Patriot Law, Patriot Act Law. The Patriot Act Law was passed as a result of 9/11, as a byproduct of 9/11, and now they can come and put you in you know under arrest without any charges, without anything going on, under the suspicion that you might be a terrorist. The only problem with that is when it faces intelligent people. If you don't have any tangible crimes, then you shouldn't be suspecting anything. So it's just depending on who it is, in my opinion. It's depending on a lot of descriptions of their situation, also, obviously. But the bottom line is, if you don't have any tangible operations, they got to kick rocks. I don't care who it is, FBI, CIA, government, community. They all got to kick rocks if you have no tangible, physical operations that you have that you are planning on carrying out, and they can prove you planning on carrying out against this country. If they don't have that, then they're breaking your constitutional rights, and they can assume, and we all could assume everybody's a terrorist in that case. But this law, the Patriot Act law, was a byproduct of 9/11. Okay, now some would say that was part of the whole deal and packages to go and do all these things, trace in a one, trace in a two, trace in a seven, do all these things, and now going into the millennium. Remember, this is the top of the millennium. This is 2001. So at the top of the millennium, they got a law that you know they can arrest anyone without any evidence of anything. Basically, I think they were more scared of the future, or equally scared of the future as most people were going into the year, going beyond the year 2000. So they didn't know what was going to be and how it was going to be, and I think it was a way of covering. I think this was a law to cover the government, and that alone, really, pretty much. And but this Patriot Act law, like I said, they think you're a terrorist or anything like that, they can use the Patriot Act law. Now, people talk about other things, other things. No, no, no. I don't know about. I've heard somebody say that they could just arrest you, and no. The Patriot Act law is the official law where they could try to do that. And but someone that's smart as me, as intelligent as me, all I gotta say is, first of all, you gotta have tangible operations, proof of tangible operations. You can suspect anybody. You have to have real threats, proof of real threats, um, with still proofs of operations. Talk about specific operations being carried out. Those specifics have to be talked about in the threat. So if somebody just say simply, "I'm gonna kill you," I mean, they can't come get you off no silliness like that. Silliness. Okay. So, but they didn't know what was gonna happen going forward. Remember, Osama bin Laden was still alive. You know, but they put this law into act into they put this law into uh, action, or into being active after 9/11. And like I said, they can arrest you, and under suspicion that you have done something wrong, you're a threat, you're a national threat, you're a security threat, so to that, something to that nature. And And I guess they would go from there with a person like that. But like I said, my whole thing is moving forward. The main thing you need to tell these people is prove we have any tangible operations. Prove it. If you cannot prove it, then you're just going by street hunches. That's a 7. Nobody has time for street hunches anymore. It's all about what you can prove. It's all about the evidence of what you're trying to prove. We're not going by street hunches and intuitions and all kind of other stuff like that. We ain't going by that. See, they would like to have a Minority Report world. You ever seen that movie? Where you had the little weird little women with bald heads in the water trying to figure out crimes before they happen. See, the bad part about going further for law enforcement and for anybody that enforces the law, the worst part for them going into the future is you can't stop evil. You cannot stop people with their free will from going into a store and blowing up a store. How can you stop that? For somebody just snapping and saying, damn it, I'm going to blow up a store. Damn it, I'm going to kill somebody. How can you stop that? Without taking our rights. That's a 7. So what FBI, police, and all the likes of that have to come to terms with is that we are embarking on another level of evil that really you can't do nothing about. It's here. You're gonna be catching people after the fact. On the average, you're gonna be getting dead bodies after the fact. On the average, you're gonna be catching suspects after they kill innocent people. On the average, and we have to make sure that you come to terms with that. Because if you don't come to terms with that, you'll try to be Superman, breaking all of our rights, trying to stop evil that's inevitable in your community. It's inevitable. It's happening. The mentality is here. You see it. People pushing people on trains. How are you going to stop that? How are you going to stop people in New York City from pushing people on trains without breaking all our constitutional rights and using weird technologies in the subway, ruining our routes, our everyday route experience? How are you going to do that without ruining our lives? You have to come to terms with the fact that, hey, on the average, we're going to have to pick up a lot of dead bodies. We're going to be catching people after the fact. And because because it's more important, hey, I'd rather that happen, and I'm sorry to say, I'd rather that happen, and that's reality. We can't stop people's free will, right? Then you breaking our constitutional rights, taking our constitutional freedoms. Nah. You need to come to terms with people are dying. You need to come to terms that we're on another level of evil. And you need to come to terms that means you're not going to be able to have the same percentages of evil or death that you've been having. It's going to be more. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is a result of acting like Christians are not necessary. See, we are the ones that speak to the people and change the people's perspective on murder and all that type of thing. You can't do it. Police talking to somebody about stop killing people ain't gonna work. The preacher is the one that changes those things. Yeah, now you need us. But here's the punchline, bro. Even we have to come to terms with the fact that, hey, evil is going to be more out there. It's nothing we can do. It's nothing we can do because we're on a new level of evil. People have free will to choose to do what they want to do. And it's nothing we can do about it. It's nothing we can do. It's nothing you can do about it. The best thing you can do is allow the man of God to be the man of God. Because ain't none of these governments, officials, they ain't listening to you. These youth ain't listening to you. These people are not listening to you. and see what the out of desperation, they say desperate times, desperate measures. We ain't trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. If you're using surveillance to break the rights of people that you don't have evidence on, you are not American to me. I have covered this in other videos. If you call yourself American, breaking constitutional rights, you are not American. I'm more American than you, and I don't even want to be American. The only thing that defines Americans is the Constitution. We don't have the same lifestyle. We don't have the same financial bracket. So if you talk to someone from a different country, how can you explain what an American is when you got some poor people over here, you got rich people over here, middle class over here, all going through different experiences over here? What joins us all as Americans? What defines you? What defines all of us? Because we all don't have the same amount of money. So what defines us? What defines us? The Constitution. That defines the freedoms that you have here in America. That defines the freedoms that we should have. And if you take what defines us and violate that, you yourself are not American. You are not a keeper of what defines us. That's a 7, Al. You're not a keeper of what defines us. You are not a keeper of what defines us. But yet you all American. That part. See, the thing is you have to be competent enough to do your job as law enforcement and any type of law enforcement without breaking the constitutional rights of Americans. Well, if you was competent enough, you wouldn't have to break the constitutional rights now, would you? You can that desperate time, desperate measures. You know what that means to me? It equals you being incompetent. Let's keep it 100. You know why you're incompetent? Because you didn't evolve into the spiritual and enhance your spirituality as all the rest of the humans have. You know what the real evolution is? Everyone has become more spiritual. Oh, you think you got it because you got telepathy, psychic power. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about manifesting. You're not manifesting anything. You know what's the only thing that's happening is evil. You think you have evolved with the rest of us, and you haven't. You know why? Because you haven't manifested anything. You know what you manifest? Donald Trump. You know what you manifest? Joe Biden. Messing up 20 years of progress in Afghanistan, and now Taliban is back on top of the Afghanistan government. That's what you manifest. You know what you manifest? Gang banging and killing it and don't know how to get rid of it. Killing kids and everything. That's what you manifest. You manifest destruction and defeat. I manifest solutions. I manifest solutions. I outrank you by manifestations. I don't care about you reading people's mind and brain technology and all of that. What are you manifesting? So when they break our constitutional rights, they are incompetent and non-American. That goes for all you Trump supporters, all you patriots of America. I just bust your bubble, didn't I? Well, if they've been breaking our constitutional rights, then what makes them American? They are not the keeper of what defines us as Americans. I don't have to say nothing else. I can close my book. I can stop this video right now. You are not American breaking constitutional rights. And you can't use that little flaky, incompetent saying of desperate time, desperate measures. That's not holding up. That's not holding up, buddy. It's not holding up in the whole community. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. With all these innocent people, ain't nobody trying to hear that. You just are incompetent with the times. That's a 7. You realize it, don't you? You're incompetent with the times that you live in, facing the evil that you face, facing the problems that you face. You're not competent. So guess what you got to do? Guess what you got to do? You got to break constitutional rights to try to remain competent. You got to put us under illegal surveillance to remain competent. And that goes for the ghetto too, in the streets and the hood politics. If you were competent in defeating your enemies, you wouldn't have to be running around and walking around like a snake. You don't see me out there in the hood worried about who y'all is, do you? You know why? I ain't worried about it. And you see me still winning, don't you? That means I'm more competent than you too. Well, you running around, walking around, got people walking around, looking around. You see me got anybody doing that? And I'm still on top, right? So I'm more competent than you are. And guess what? By the way, you're another one breaking constitutional rights. Well, if you're stalking and you're gang stalking, you're breaking constitutional rights as well. Oh, you thought just because you wasn't the police, you're not able to break constitutional rights. You're still doing it too. You're another one. You're another one doing it too, which makes you non-American as well. If you're putting anybody under illegal surveillance, that goes for the gangsters and the thugs. If you're doing that, you just as bad as the police, and you're just as incompetent as the police. I don't have to do that either. I don't have to put nobody under the illegal surveillance. I don't have. You see me paying attention to anybody, and I'm winning everything, ain't I? That shows you how competent I am as a soldier. That's a 7. Everybody think they the man, but you manipulating. See, manipulation means you're incompetent. That's a 7. Anytime you got to manipulate, that means you're incompetent. For example, if you're financially, all of us, many of us are. If you're financially incompetent, you know what that means? You have to go out here and rob and manipulate and rob and steal and cheat, because you're incompetent in the area. So you have to manipulate because of your incompetency. The police, the military, anytime somebody's incompetent, okay, you can't, certain things you can't do, so you got to manipulate. You got to go out here, steal, cheat, and do whatever else. Incompetency leads to manipulation. That's a 7. The incompetency of your government and law enforcement leads to manipulation of our community. They're incompetent. The government's incompetent. Do they seem competent to you? When the last time they've been competent? Since Obama? So they have to manipulate. Law enforcement, all this stuff they doing, messing with innocent people that ain't done nothing. They have to manipulate. My enemies, the secret societies, Freemasons and Illuminati. You can't beat me. Guess what you got to do? You have to manipulate because you're incompetent. Well, if you were competent, why you ain't beat me yet then? Why I'm still here after all you've done? Because you're incompetent. Why is it one of me and hundreds of y'all? Because you're incompetent. It's only one of me. I'm not a superhuman. You got to make up these big names. You know why? Because you're incompetent. You have to prove, you have to explain why you're so incompetent in this situation. That's a 7. Ow. So guess what they got to do? Guess what they got to say, y'all? He's the king of the earth. That's why we can't beat him. It's 5 of them. He's not a human. It's 5 of him. It's only one of me. You know why you can't beat me? Because you're incompetent. You ain't got one person on my level. So guess what you got to do? You got to manipulate and use 1 million people. That's a 7 hour. Against one man. One man now. One man. Yeah, you should have knew I was going to talk about this part and emphasize on this part. All of y'all and one of me? That don't look strange to you? It looks incompetent to me. You little incompetent bastards. Imagine if I had 100 of me. Imagine the shape you be in. Just 100. Not 1,000, not 1,000,000. If I had 100 of me, you would be dead. And how many is it of you? Hundreds of thousands, different chapters in every city. What? Huh? Yeah. Incompetent fools. Your numbers show your incompetency. It takes 100,000 of y'all. You couldn't find one man to beat me. One person to beat me. Looks like you're incompetent. You making up all these folklore stories talking about king of the earth. I ain't no king. You tripping. You lying. You're trying to make up for why you incompetent in the situation. Yeah. Let's tell it like it is. You can't play with African power. I know you thought you thought I didn't get along with the blacks, so I ain't black. How come you can't beat me then? African power is defeating you. That's what's happening. Not Hispanic, not Latino, not Asian, not white. African power is defeating you. Okay? You can't play with African power, buddy. Now you know. Now you know. Yeah, you forgot about that part, didn't you? Because you thought the black community denied me of my black power, didn't you? Ow. That's a 7. You thought they had the power to deny me of my strength. How about now then? When all of you are defeated by black power, what you gonna say? Oh, like I needed a pass to be black. I need a pass to be black. Y'all some funny characters, man. I don't need your pass. You can keep that. I'm from North Carolina. I'm blacker than all y'all. You ain't blacker than me. You from North Carolina. If you ain't from North Carolina, you ain't blacker than me. Oh, New York. New York with all, man, come on. Comparing black culture in North Carolina to New York is ridiculous. Okay? Let's not go there. Okay? Just stick to your street art and all that little stuff you do here. Stick to your hip hop and all of that little stuff you do here. Hip hop can't compare to the whole North Carolina Southern culture of black people. Come on, you can't take it on. Not to mention we have our own hip hop that you really had nothing to do with. Now, did you? Okay, you may have gave us a little understanding of riding the bike, but we made our own bikes. You might have invented the bike, but we made our own bikes. It's just like saying you might have made cars, but we made our own cars. We made Corvettes. Okay, you made the T Ford, but we made Corvettes. Well, everybody's on Southern rap these days. Did you notice that? Been like that for a while now, buddy. Should have knew it was going to come back home. It's where everybody come from. My enemies messed around with black power. Now they understand that. And I don't care who you are, Freemason, Illuminati. You messing with African power is elevated and knowledgeable and in the right position under God, you lose. When African power is submitted to God, elevated in information and knowledge, you will not win. And that's what you have going on here. You have the Megatron of African power submitted to God, elevated in information and knowledge, and ain't nothing you can do about it. 7. Ow. Boom. Play with me, suckers. Ain't none of your martial arts and none of that stuff gonna work. Oh, you thought I was martial arts. Martial arts ain't nothing to spiritual warfare. What karate gonna do to spiritual warfare? You can't be serious. Oh, you gonna karate chop your way out of this. Good luck. Good luck. You know how the Americans want to be martial artsmen anyway. They're obsessed with it. Like I told you before, the black man wanted to be Asian before the Asian man wanted to be black. Well, how long you been practicing martial arts? Since the 50s and 60s and on back. Black people been doing that. Hip hop wasn't around then. You're quick to say everybody want to be you. But listen to this information right here. You wanted to be like the Asians with the martial arts. Oh, it was a big deal. Many black people took it very seriously. And you were emulating their culture before they were emulating your culture. That's a 7 Al. Right or wrong, guys. Right or wrong. Hip hop didn't go back that far, buddy. So there was nobody trying to be black. That's what you forget. People be saying that irks me. At one point, it was the worst thing to be in this country. I don't think nobody wanted to be black the whole time in this country. Yeah, you forgot about that part. Now you get up on your feet. Now you're talking about everybody want to be black. Okay. I want to be like Jesus Christ. That's what I want to be like, which has nothing to do with any particular culture. Actually, it has to deal with being like God. That part. To be Christ-like is to be of God, not of an ethnicity. Let's get that understood. Because what I see in this country is everybody want to claim who Jesus Christ is. The bottom line is most of y'all are either pro-black or pro-white. You want Jesus to be white or you want Jesus to be black. But see, when you're really connected to the spirit of Jesus, you wouldn't care what color he was. I wouldn't care what color he was. That's the same spirit I've been connecting with this whole time. I wouldn't care what color he was. All that love, all those memories, I wouldn't care what color he was. But I ain't gonna sit around here trying to say, oh, he's this color, that color. Do any of us really, really know? Let's keep it 100. You don't really, really know yourself. Keep it 100 with yourself. All you know is whatever color he is fine with you, right? If you've really been connected to the spirit of Jesus Christ, it shouldn't matter. But you got people, they just can't accept if he ain't black. They just can't accept if he ain't white. They don't want to serve him if he not. Then you see, you ain't went beyond into the spirit where there is no flesh. That's where I'm at. You want to know where I'm at? Beyond the flesh. Checking everybody, correcting everybody, speaking the truth about everybody. Beyond your color, beyond your flesh. Some of you worship your own flesh, whether you be black or white. You worship your flesh. I don't. I don't worship mine and I don't worship yours. And that's the difference. Because you ain't going to get nowhere. I'm going to tell you one thing. Ain't nobody going to get anywhere talking about one color. You ain't going to get nowhere like that. But I can get somewhere talking about one God. How about that part? You can't get nowhere talking about one color with all these different people. With all these white folks. And white folks can't get nowhere talking about white people with all these Hispanics and all these black people and Latinos. You can't get nowhere. There's too many of them. But I can get somewhere talking about one God. That part. That's a 7. I can get somewhere talking about one God. You can't get nowhere talking about one color. So see, I've evolved in my understanding. That's why these authorities can't do nothing with me. The whole point, what I was making is they facing black power. Submitted to God, elevated in information and knowledge. Elevated. You can't trigger me. You can't trigger me with foolish images. I'm too elevated in spirituality and understanding. I know what you're doing. I know you're trying to send images to the mind and images to the people. That don't work with me. I'm too elevated. I'm either aware, I'm guarded towards your images, aware of the images that you're seeing and guarded, and you can't get through. I'm aware of what you did the last time, see the images and aware of the images that you sent the last time, guarded against it still, and you can't get through. You can't send trigger names, you can't do trigger things. It doesn't work with me. I'm beyond triggers. That's the difference between me and you. I'm beyond triggers. And you think it's a contest while your country got COVID-19. See, they've been like this. See, let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you something. These people out here been doing this. Don't let them lie to you. Ask them how long they've been doing that. To me, over 5 years and they still ain't won. That's incompetency or not. Which one you? So what would you do? Would you continue to fight, or is it a lost cause? That's a lost cause, man. Put yourself in my shoes as the winner. They're the losers, so they can't put themselves in my shoes. That's a 7. Put yourself in my shoes as the winner. Why would I feel the need to keep fighting something I've been beating every single time? See, they reinvent themselves every single city they go to. They got different chapters, and they reinvent themselves, acting like it's a new contest or some new contest. They tell you, the locals, that, and they get surprised and they think it's interesting and exciting. They've been defeated so many times, it don't make no sense. And they defeated here now in this neighborhood. Oh yeah, everybody pretty sure about who I am now here, like always. Now the smoke clears and you look incompetent. Just like our law enforcement, just like our authorities that have to manipulate and put people under illegal surveillance. You got to do the same thing. You got to do the same thing. Watching everything we do because you're incompetent. You know what I told you long before this happened? Well, if you go in your corner and I go in my corner, I guarantee you I'll win. And I did, didn't I? I told you this. I don't even got to know where you live.